Grab your gear, let's hit the water. Paddle and fin, where the vibe gets hotter. Kayak fishing, straight talk, hear the stories unfold. Salty freshwater adventures bold. With multiple hosts, yeah, the crew's all here. Casting lines in rivers, no need for fear. From the east to the west, we're making waves. Join the tournament hype, see how it raves. Paddle and fin, we're on the go. From the lakes to the oceans, let the good times flow. Fishing tales and triumphs will paint the scene. Give reviews and profiles, you know what we mean. Bring special guests, every episode shines. This is kayak fishing, where the world aligns.
Chasing the 20-incher Susquehanna River podcast is brought to you by these great companies. Railblazer, think outside the tackle box. Kayak Cushion, for them long days on the water. Achigan brand, the official brand of smallmouth bass. Blue Mountain Outfitters, Susquehanna's local kayak shop. Ken's Jigs, need a custom jig? Don't look any further. Nico Fishing Baits, next generation of soft plastics. And Undercover Baits, get hooked on Undercover Baits. Thanks for watching and welcome to the show.
That's a 20. That is a 20.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Chasing the 20 Inchers. We have our guest tonight in the green room, so I just wanted to give him a heads up that we see him, and we will bring him in about 5 minutes, and after we go through our normal beginning of the show stuff. So how are you doing, Carlisle?
I'm doing well. How about you, Sean?
Well, I wish I was fishing. It's getting there, but the river has just not been cooperating.
Yeah, I went out today, fished from the bank. I went to a local creek that does pretty well when the river's kind of high. And I proceeded to watch a guy next to me catch two giants, and then and then he left. And then I snuck in his little hole there because that's where I like to fish too, and fished for the next 2 hours and didn't get a bite. So I don't know what the heck was going on.
Crazy. I fished in that same spot probably 2 or 3 times in the last week and a half and had similar lack of luck. So I'm ready to get out on the river, but we're going to hit the river levels here in just a second. And you'll see that it's probably not going to be anytime soon because the river looks like it's back to its same old tricks where it's going to start jumping up again, unfortunately. But
yeah, it was pretty vicious out there today. White caps everywhere, and I wouldn't want to been out there in a kayak. I'll tell you that. That's for sure.
Was there still a lot of debris floating? Last time I was there was like logs and all sorts of stuff floating down.
I seen some, but it wasn't as bad as I seen before.
Gotcha.
I know. I talked to Mickey Forbes today, and he went out for like an hour this morning, and he said it was just too much debris, and he said he was in 4-footers down at Marietta.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, you want to get into the river levels while we're talking about that?
Yeah, might as well. Let's knock that out.
Well, guys, the river levels are brought to you by Railblazer. Think outside the tackle box. Our first one will be Harrisburg. And Harrisburg right now sitting at 7.15 feet, and looks like it's gone down, but we've seen the graph for
the forecast.
Forecast, and it's going to go back up for sure.
Yeah, it's turning around. So maybe you'll get to fish the rise if you go out. But all right, our next one is Lewisburg, and again, that one also shows that it's dropping, but again, I think the forecast for most of these is going to be a quick turnaround here and heading right back up.
Yep, for sure. And the flow is like really strong today too.
Yeah.
The next one we have is Marietta, where I was at today, close to where I was at today. It was 40.88 feet, and also looks like spiraling down, but it's.
But this one is definitely, this is the gauge that I just looked at right before the show, and it's going to be almost up to the yellow, warning stage of flood stage. So it's definitely on its way back up, or will be shortly. So.
Yep.
And lastly, we have Towanda, which also is showing that it's going down, but make sure if you guys are heading out that you definitely check the forecast and not just the current gauge, because like I said, it is, I think with whatever weather we're supposed to get tomorrow, it's going to turn around and head back up. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, Towanda is sitting at 5.91 feet.
Yep. Michael Bradley's in the house. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, Michael. Thanks for tuning in. And he's the first comment as usual.
Always. Thanks for doing that, Michael.
Yeah.
And then we have another one. It says river was pretty good today. Cold, windy, rain tomorrow, of course. And then he said no debris. So
no debris. Okay.
Must have been on the river today.
Nice. I'm glad somebody made it out.
Yeah. So while we're finishing up with the river levels, why don't we get right into the Achigan photos of the week, and then we'll bring our guests in here. And we got some photos this week that we're going to let the guys in the comments choose the winner for the $50 Achigan gift card, and we'll announce that winner on our next podcast. So why don't you go ahead and start it off, Sean?
All right, guys. So yeah, just take a look at the names, and if you think their fish should be recognized, I love the outfit. Look at that, Buddy Long sending us. Not only does he have a nice catch there, but he is dressed for success.
Yeah, he. I guess when he sent this picture in, he did comment and say that he was going somewhere for work or something like that. So he stopped by the famous spot in the Susquehanna River, and there was a guy fishing, and the guy gave him his rod to use for a couple casts, and he wound up catching one.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was cool. That's an awesome picture with that scene.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy, for sending that in.
Yeah. And then next we have Horst Gary
Horst. Yeah.
with a giant smallmouth.
Holy cow. Yeah, look at that.
That's got to be a 20 plus there.
You'd think so. That looks like a nice catch there. Thanks, Gary, for sending that in. Next up, we have our buddy from the undercover team, Jake Karen. And Karen and Jake, thanks for sending that in. Jake is also out for that tug just as much as we are. So Jake, thanks for sending that in and contributing.
Yep. And the next we have our teammate in the KA championship last year, Mr. Jay Duke.
Yeah, Jay's representing there. Look at that.
Nice fish, Jay. Thanks for sending that in.
And next up, we have Kevin Rowland, another frequent submitter with a nice, healthy fish there. Yeah, I was going to say that's a largemouth.
Nice fish.
Giving the green fish some love too.
Heck yeah. And then last but not least, our very own jet boater, the mad jet boater, Larry Okonski. But he looks like he's on a kayak.
I was going to say he's got his paddle on his lap, so I think that's a kayak picture. And
check out that bougie freaking setup he's got going on there, man. Holy crap. Nice.
Well, Larry, thanks for submitting that. So, guys, pick your favorites out of picture out of those pictures and drop that name in the comments, and we will next time on the show we'll announce who won the Achigan gift card for that set of pictures. So again, just drop it in the comments who you think should win that, and we will go from there.
Yep. Hey guys, always looking forward to the podcast. Let's roll. By the way, the Juniana was good today. Tube bite was great. Water around 46 degrees.
Okay. So it's going down because I think Josh said it was like almost 50 when he was there a few days ago. So
yeah,
but that's not surprising because it has cooled off a little bit. But
yeah, Sean, it's right around the corner, buddy. We're going to be tournament fishing here in a couple more weeks.
Thank goodness.
And we'll be back on our busy summer schedule of kayak tournament fishing all summer long, man.
Can't wait.
Yes, sir.
Well, all right. We have our guest waiting in the green line. I think we kept him on there long enough. So today we wanted to welcome Matt Johnson from Omnia Fishing to the show. So we'll bring him in here and get him properly introduced. Hey, Matt, can you hear us?
Yeah, guys, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can
Yep.
hear you.
Yep. Good to meet
Thanks
you, Matt.
Yeah, thanks so
you as
much for
well.
coming on.
Apologize for being on the phone. I crossed my calendar, and so we're here in Minnesota, and two things we like to do: it's fish and play a lot of hockey. But unfortunately, my kids
Heck
play so
yeah,
much
brother.
hockey that I spend my entire weekends in life outside of work at hockey arenas. So I'm sitting outside the hockey arena.
Gotcha.
That's two of my favorite things in the world too, Matt. Hockey and fishing for sure. But I'm a big Edmonton Oilers fan, so I've been watching them. You know, they're doing pretty well this year.
Yeah, not bad. Well, Minnesota Wild here, so we'll probably hopefully meet up in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, for sure. So why don't you tell the viewers, who you are? You already said you're from Minnesota, but how you got started. Are you the owner of Omnia?
Yeah, I'm one of the co-founders of Omnia. We started in 2019. Three of us started, kind of diverse backgrounds. So I had actually been in the startup world for quite a bit of time. So my background really comes from mapping and software and technology. So we actually built a company. Me and another friend built a company in 2011 through 2014, where we actually took sonar data, processed it using cloud-based processing, and then kicked out a map really quickly for people. And that company got bought by Lowrance. So we worked for Lowrance for quite a few years after the acquisition. And then we rebranded that product as Insight Genesis, if anybody's used to running their own mapping, vegetation, bottom hardness mapping. And actually had some other verticals in that product for that company. One was it was using sonar to map the top of plant in the water body. And that was being used by water resource and DNR agencies that were actually mapping invasive plants and monitoring habitats in lakes. And so we really just kind of built our whole world around that. And after working for Lowrance for a few years, we got the idea for Omnia. And the idea was that there was a lot of information constantly flowing in. Lowrance was trying to figure out how to have a good relationship with the consumer. We were kind of in that point where a lot of brands were going direct to consumer. And so my idea was essentially use the mapping concept where we could take and organize information about every water body and take this very kind of overwhelming process of selecting tackle and match it up with water body attributes, time of year, and a feedback loop where actually people file fishing reports saying what bait they caught them on, never giving away location, but what bait worked for them. And that was really the impetus for Omnia. So a lot of people see us as a retailer, and over time we've really morphed into being more of a data company. And so, yeah, my career, I actually tell people that I've accidentally spent the last 15 years of my career in the fishing industry. Passionate angler, multi-species angler, grew up in northern Wisconsin, and that was kind of the evolution of my career, mostly in the startup world and starting my own companies.
Wow. Okay. That's crazy. And I think the first time I was introduced to Omnia, it was more on the retail side. And then, we happened to, I forget who I ran into that said, well, hey, did you check out the app? And I was like, oh, they have an app. And that led me to, I forget what the gentleman's name is who I interviewed. Maybe I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. And he laid it out for the podcast that I was on at the time. And I was like, holy cow, I was blown away by what the app offered. And that was 3 years ago. So I've used the app since then, and it's only, grown leaps and bounds. So it's kind of crazy.
Glad you've got some time to play with it. Actually, we put so much information into the app that I think we made a mistake that it was almost hard to find everything. And when we would do interviews with people, it was very clear that people hadn't even seen all of the features and layers and all the information that was in there. We've recently started to organize all the information in the app. We want it to be the absolute best resource on the planet. We have some proprietary layers in there. So really where we break it down is we have pins, and that's layers with information on individual water bodies. You were talking about water levels and stuff. We recently incorporated that in. We've actually got tidal layers in there. We've got all of the public and private boat launches. So those are our pins. And then we have a pin that represents every lake, and we organize a lot of information for each individual water body. And then the last two are our maps and our weather layers. And that's really trying to be the most comprehensive app that's out there for fishing resources. And in the weather, you know, we have all kinds of details to keep you safe. Storm directions, radar, wind speeds, things like that help with making decisions on fishing, but also lightning strikes and things like that. You can see real-time lightning strikes in the area. We have a really great feed on the weather side. And then on the mapping, we actually have a full navionics layer in there. So you get a full navionics subscription for US and Canada, and then some proprietary layers where we process satellite information for water temp and water clarity. And then we also partnered back up with Lowrance and CMAP to do bottom hardness, vegetation. So just a lot of information in there. CMAP contours where people are actually submitting contours to be organized and processed. So it's just a lot of information to go in and digest. DNR data in the lake page, really a lot of information. And the hope was that could really be the foundation for information for planning from your couch. And then because we are the retailer and we have all the products in stock, we offer some loyalty benefits, free shipping with no minimums and things like that. So we really have tried to build one of the greatest resources for anglers.
That's awesome.
Yes, it's definitely impressive. Yeah.
I mean, that's perfect for a kayak fisherman, because especially if they don't have any kind of graphs on their boats or anything like that, especially for a day like today when the wind was blowing 25 to 30 mile an hour,
right?
You can see, you could literally sit on your couch and pick where you want to go fishing and be out of the wind for that day. That's awesome.
We talk a lot about somebody wanting to save gas. You know, if you've got blowing winds, it may help not only make a decision about patterning and the behavior of the fish and, you know, wind swept areas or wind swept banks, but it may help you save gas. You know, you say like, I'm going to be heading straight into that wind. I'm going to look for another area to launch my boat. But when the power is your paddle or your feet, gas becomes, gas doesn't matter as much. It's
right.
about effort to get to where you want to head.
Right.
You know, changes the calculus a little bit.
Natural gas, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
we
yeah,
got a
like
question from real quick from Matt. When can you expect the Karashi 80 to drop at Omnia?
That's a great question. You know, that's something I could respond to some of these comments after the fact too, but we actually have a full merchandising team. I could run that by them and actually find out when that'll be in there. If it's not in there already, probably something that's coming this spring. We have partnered up with a local retailer here in Minnesota. They actually pulled all of our inventory into their warehouse. And so we've got a much bigger selection than we used to have. So sometimes things come really fast. Sometimes I can pull that information and find out a little bit longer, or take me a little bit longer to find out when those things will drop.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, for the people that are listening, it's not just, I mean, you didn't just, it's not just an app. They have an online, tackle shop, right? Online
That's
store.
right. Yes.
That's right.
Lots of retail stuff, right? But
yeah, about 30,000 SKUs. And that's actually something we found that, you know, being in Minnesota, we started as somewhat of a multi-species. We really have a national presence in bass. And so one of our co-owners and biggest partner, Seth Fighter, who just finished in the Bassmaster Classic, you know, he gives us that national presence. And so that catapulted us probably in 2020 to really have that national presence. But what we found is that if you want to be a national retailer, you have to have a massive selection, whether rational or irrational. You got to have a lot of brands where somebody in Florida says, you know, I want to see X brand, and if I don't see it in there, you're not a real retailer to me. And we found that is pretty interesting. And I think there is some rational piece of this, that those lakes fish a little bit differently, and those brands are being built very specific to those bodies of water. So we have had to expand inventory and really pay attention to what the national consumer is looking for. The good news is that has worked, but it's a really big challenge to have a lot of inventory like that.
I bet. I can only imagine.
Wow.
So I know another cool aspect, I think, is like the fact that you can put in your own personal data onto the site, and you can like build reports just for you if you want, but you can also share that information, or you can go and look and see what other anglers have shared about, like, you know, what was working for them, and kind of pull all that stuff for, you know, any body of water that you're on, really.
Yeah, that's true. You know, we have some lakes that have hundreds of fishing reports on them. You know, we kind of say that it's nice to log some of that information for yourself personally, What we've tried to do is source such a high volume of information for some lakes that you might not be interested in what one guy says about what he was catching them on and, where he was fishing or, what depth he was fishing in. But when you start to see these patterns emerge, that becomes a really interesting piece. So actually, we reward people that file fishing reports on the app. So if I file a report, one of you guys is going to my lake and you see my report and you buy some tackle off of that report, I actually get a couple dollars for my next order. And we see that really compound. People that get a couple dollars end up becoming really frequent filers. And it's really good for the system. And then what we've done is we've started to build some algorithms that then start matching up those patterns of what keeps getting mentioned frequently. And that's something that's really important to us, that we never want to be a catch app. We never want to be something for just logging your trips or giving away spots or dropping pins. We really think of ourselves as kind of a component, especially like in the kayak world, a component or an extension of the marine electronics world, that, this can be something where a waypoint to us is a private waypoint to you. And so, you're right. There's that fishing report component to start and share, and that social piece of just talking about baits on lakes and matching those up with conditions and things. But really the waypoint management piece is key too. You can drop a waypoint on your app and it's going to automatically attach all of the weather conditions that we have. So it's going to show where the direction was out of, time of day, water temp, all of the details that we have about that water body. And so when you come back, you may say, I'm going to see wind out of the south at 64 degrees, provide those details back into the app. And it's actually going to pull waypoints. You're able to filter those down and see, where was I successful, or where did I catch some fish based on where I dropped those waypoints? And that's a 100% private catalog for yourself, that we just really think it's about those patterns. It's about starting to unlock those things, both for retail, but also for you as an angler. And we really want to accelerate that learning curve, break down water fast, plan before you get there. But also when you're putting that time in and as you're starting to really drop and build those patterns, we want to be a part of that.
And I think that's really cool. And I know so many anglers are concerned about spot burning and stuff like that. And that's why I wanted to emphasize how that works is that it is your private copy of it, and it's not getting shared unless you share what you want. And like the angler reports and stuff. And the fact that you do get rewarded for sharing the information that you do, I think is really a neat testimony too. I can't imagine the data warehousing that has to go into that. Like, I'm a mainframe guy for the Department of Defense, and I know a little bit about data storage and stuff, and the amount of data that you're talking is pretty incredible.
Yeah. It's a lot. You think about pulling down NASA data and processing that, pulling out the cloud cover and trying to do your best to try and pull water temperature on some of those temperature reflections going up through those satellites. It's a lot of information that's being processed all the time. So yeah, it's we had to be a big company right away.
Yeah. That's awesome. So let's talk about the memberships that you can get through Omnia and what does it involve and how you get the app to see all the mapping and stuff like that. Why don't you take us through kind of what different categories you have and some of the pricing on it, so our listeners can get an idea what's going on?
Yeah. I actually like to start by saying that Omnia is free. Omnia is 100% free because we're a retailer. And so anybody can buy any product. We operate just like a regular retailer. We've always tried to enrich that retail experience. So if you go to Omnia Fishing, whether you go on the phone or on the app, and then you click into that map, you can click a pin. You can see over 30,000 fishing reports across the country. We have a lot of information in there that's free. We rank the techniques based on the user-generated content. All of that stuff's in there. And then it may say, you should be fishing frogs. Well, if you're on a lake that says you should be fishing frogs right now and you shop by that top technique, you're only going to see the products that match, the line that matches frogging, the rods and reels that match it. And we've tried to really dial that in. 100% free experience. And I encourage everybody to at least have Omnia as a resource in their back pocket when they're thinking about getting some new gear. Our Omnia Pro subscription is that elevated level. There's actually a cost to us to operate that subscription because we actually pay for your Navionics subscription. It's a $59 annual subscription. And like I said, it includes that Navionics that we actually pay Navionics for it. That's our biggest expense, and then our weather feed. But that really unlocks. We have a partnership that we pay a license fee to CMAP to have access to those social contours, social map for the vegetation and bottom hardness. It's not complete contours. It's only the place where people have submitted their log files. It's a really incredible service. And if you're a Lowrance user, it's a great thing to look at and pay attention to, because it's constantly updating. The data is constantly being fed in, but you can consume and access it in our app if you're a pro member. You also get all of that weather information that's included in the pro subscription. We have some summaries where we use artificial intelligence to break down, I mentioned, patterns on all those fishing reports. And then we offer free waypoints on the app, but that patterning of the waypoints that I was mentioning, that's all included in the subscription, where you can actually filter down, have all of the data associated to each waypoint that you pull into the system. We've recently put in the tides for some of the coastal areas and some of the dams. So you'll see the normal pool, and then we'll give you the plus or minus on the level from normal pool. And then you can offset your contours if you're a boat angler, or if you've got electronics on your kayak. So there's just so much in there. DNR data, that's all behind the paywall, but there's a lot of really great things in there, and that's included in that $59 subscription. And then I have to point out that there includes some benefits on the retail side.
I was going to say,
$59 a year, you get 10% loyalty credit back on all your purchases, as long as you haven't received like a 30% discount or something. So, we have a lot of people that spend a couple $1,000 with us every year, and they're buying a couple new rods and reels every year, sometimes electronics, a lot of baits. These are people are fishing a lot, losing a lot of baits, and replacing them. You spend $1,000, you have $100 in credit, you actually come out ahead on the subscription, and you get Navionics, and you get all of those mapping layers. So we hope that, if you spend a couple $100 on gear every year, we hope that it ends up paying for itself. It creates a lot of loyalty, and it allows us to keep bringing in new inventory frequently. But it's really the social thing. And, there's tens of thousands of people that have an Omnia Pro subscription. We've seen it grow really, really fast as of late.
I mean,
Awesome.
that's a pretty cool deal. If you're going on vacation somewhere and you plan on fishing some lake that you've never been to, and you have the app, and you said something about you get waypoints, that kind of and baits or whatever, kind of steers you in the right direction to get started instead of just going into some lake blind. I mean, that's such an awesome thing to have.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I actually I've used it on vacation just for the weather service. I was actually just in Northwest Arkansas, and we were supposed to get a really bad storm, and I was going to see if it was going to hit my hotel. So I turned on the wind, and I could see it swirling. I was looking at, I was like just between two big storm bands. So it's just become an app that I think you start using it, and you start realizing the utility of it. So yeah, it's been a really great thing to have around. But when you're going down to new areas, there's a filter on the main app. You could decide I want to go. Okay, I'm in Stillwater, Minnesota, and we're not far from the St. Croix River. We fish sturgeon out that way. You can actually go into the app and filter by sturgeon and look at the reports for sturgeon. It might show you a lake you didn't realize there was a sturgeon in, and you'll see a report of somebody holding it up, and it'll show exactly what they were catching them on. It's a cool resource. I'm a little biased, but it's a cool resource.
That is cool.
And I think like some of the things, like I don't know where else you can get it, like the water clarity, like so you can look at the river and see, oh, one side's muddier than the other, so or this creek mouth, you can see where this creek arm rather is more muddy or more clear than
Right.
this section, and so really it helps with like map study and all that of trying to figure out where you might want to fish. And there's not a lot of places you can get that information, and to have it included with all the other stuff that you get it really is pretty much a one-stop shop. I think you guys have done a great job consolidating lots of different types of info all in one like kind of instead of having 12 different apps for all that stuff on your phone. You have it all there with the benefits that you get from the retail stuff as well. It's kind of, I think it's a really good business plan, and I'm not surprised that it's growing.
Yeah. One of the hopes was to, I think it's twofold the way we think about our customer base too. And I'll say, like, my motivation has always been the angler that's trying to learn, the angler that says, I want to try a new species, the angler that says, I don't know, here in Minnesota specifically, there's 11,000 lakes, and somebody says, I want to try something new, but I'm intimidated by that. Or So what lake, I want to find some data, or go fish a lake that has a lot of good information. Or this same silver and blue Rapala that my dad tells me is the only thing they catch them on. Like, I want to learn to use something else, but I'm too intimidated by this massive wall, or the people aren't very helpful, or the mom and pop bait shop are dying. Omnia really wanted to be that resource for that angler that really wanted to learn and say, like, we're essentially a mom and pop bait shop for every lake in America was the hope. We've got a big following from the very avid angler, the tournament angler that sees the value in the loyalty benefits of the pro subscription. But it's really unbelievable how when we do, if our customers renew, they get a survey and, offer them $10 in credit to renew their subscription and then take a survey for us. And we just really haven't found consistency in what people like about the app. It's like everybody has two different things that they like about it. So it was almost like we needed it to be comprehensive out of necessity, because we have such a diverse group of tournament anglers and dads trying to get their kids on fish. And so it has to be comprehensive. We didn't want it to be overwhelming. The whole goal is to be the opposite of that, is to really try to tame things down. And so I encourage people to go in, check out the technique section. It's going to only show you baits that I mentioned on that lake for that technique. It will match up your, if you haven't done a wacky rig before or something, you're just getting into bass fishing, it's going to show you all the little things that you need for rigging a wacky rig. And then it's going to give you a video, Seth Fighter, telling you how to rig it. So, the goal was to try and simplify fishing, which I think back in the days, fishing was a little bit more simple, and we've maybe overcomplicated it a bit. And so hopefully the technology was trying to re-simplify it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think for the beginning angler, that is super helpful. Like you said, not only does it give you an idea of where to start, but it shows you not only what to try, but how to do it. And I almost wish back when I was learning that I had, because I did so many silly things, using the wrong hook with the wrong line with the wrong reel. Not that you can't catch fish that way, but you definitely shorten the learning curve when you have someone kind of filling you in on that. And for those of us like myself who didn't necessarily have someone, kind of showing me around, I had to learn on the fly and learn from my mistakes. And shortening the learning curve is huge, I think, for someone just getting into fishing. So
yeah, and actually, if you look at the data, the fishing industry has a leaky bucket problem. We put a lot of new people into the top of the bucket every year. Fishing is a peaceful thing. It's nice to be outside. It's one of those things that attracts a lot of people, but it's hard. There's a lot to think about. There's a lot to learn. And we have this leaky bucket. We lose a lot of fishermen every year, anglers every year, that fall out the bottom. And, we're seeing some really good things that, lots of women coming into the sport as a really rapidly expanding demographic. The kayak is absolutely incredible. The amount of people that are that don't feel like they need $70,000 bass boats to go out and catch fish, or they want both because they bring you a different type of experience. It's just awesome to see that and how fast that's changing. But it's really sad to see the sport lose so many people as a result of, I think, first step is not a lot of support. Bass Pro Shops owns 80% of the sales. Like, it's a great shopping experience, but like, I just don't know that the help is there. Like, we can create digital tools and be a resource for each other. And I think that's a big motivation for a lot of people that 30,000, 35,000 fishing reports. Those are people that some of them want to brag. Some of them want to represent their brand. Some of them, they just, out of the goodness of their heart, they see the value in talking about fishing on a platform like this. And, they get a couple bucks out of it. And it really, I think, spurs a lot of people to say, like, maybe I shouldn't be so intimidated by this. I'll give it another swing.
Yeah. Nice. Well, we're going to take a 30-second commercial and we'll be right back, guys.
Awesome. So I see in the comments here, we have a comment saying this week, when you buy any gift card of $60 plus, they will email you a code for a free year subscription of Omnia Pro. That's a pretty good promo. Are you aware of that? I'm sure you're aware of that promo.
I'm aware of that one. Yeah.
That's a good
That's
deal.
true. I actually saw somebody comment they're practically giving pro away or something like that as well. So I think
Yeah.
that's what they were referring to. Yeah, that's the getting a subscription or getting a gift card is a great gateway drug. It gets you in. It gets you to
I
learn
hear
about
that.
pro. It's a really high. When you look at the customers that renew their subscription, it's the ones that came in and gave it some time and learned, and they find an extremely high value. And a lot of that comes from trying to spend the money. So they come in and say, I've got $60 I'm going to spend. How am I going to spend it? And we find that they spend a lot of time in the maps. One of the ways that we judge success of ourselves as a company is we have a thing called Omnia Assistance. And so we look at where orders came from. Did the person come in and say, I just want to look at soft baits and paddle tails and I want to buy ball jigs? Or did they click in the map, they click into the fishing report, and did they use the tools of Omnia to add items to cart? And it's an extremely anonymous assistance, but it allows us to say, is Omnia as a company doing a good job helping people get the right tackle and gear, or get something that's very personalized to them based on where they're fishing in their lakes? And it's really an incredible thing to see is that if you look at 2 or 3 fishing reports, or if you click into a lake pin, or if you click around on the map, the more interactions that we get in that map, the higher the conversion rate. And so people do find good baits, they find good products, and they add them to cart. And so it's a great promotion that essentially encourages people to go learn the system because they have that $60 in their cart. And so we use it as a great way to really get people in, get them familiar with the service, and they end up becoming really long-time loyal customers.
Nice. That's
You can
awesome.
obviously tell when you have repeat or people coming back like that and renewing the subscription year after year. That wouldn't happen if they weren't getting a benefit out of that. So
Right.
that's definitely a good clue that you're at least doing something right.
Right.
I mean,
And
just
even
to
when we
see-
lose a customer on a subscription, we find that they continue to buy retail. So I know it's about really getting to learn the mapping side of the business and some of those tools. Two owns that.
game ain't over yet.
That's right. That's right. We're a second half team, unfortunately. I was actually I was watching the game for a little bit before I came in. It was 0-0. So man, there's something must have just fallen off here in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you have? Let's see. I know what I was going to ask. Where are you guys headed for the future? What's like your next steps?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question. There's so much information in there now. A lot of what we do is optimize. And so we are trying to figure out how to simplify the experience and try to make it a little easier and faster. And one thing we can do is, we're not a very big team on the technical side. So like, for example, all of the mapping layers that are in there are just listed in there based on popularity, but that popularity changes depending on the season and time of year and pattern. So we're starting to play around with, we see patterns in how people look at combining layers. And so coming up with better ways to really just make it as few clicks as possible to really get the information that you need. And then help those that are looking for assistance about how should I be looking at this information. More tutorials. We're really heavily moving into content development and expanding there. But like I said, we just added 3 things. We added those water levels, the tides, and then one thing that we just added very recently, maybe in the last day or two, I don't know if we've announced it, but we have the ability to drop a pin and then move that another pin, and it will give you distance.
Ooh,
so that's really great
good.
for the kayak community, which is one of our fastest growing segments. So you can actually see exactly the distance between
what your
pins
float's going to
drop.
be. Yeah, that's
awesome.
huge. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think we've announced it, but it's in there if you play around with it. We'll be announcing this week. So we still have a lot of cool things like that. We have a lasso tool, so you could pull all your waypoints and say, I only want to see waypoints when I caught a fish when it was 64 degrees or warmer, and then lasso those in one bay, and then you can pull those down and just look at those or kind of break. So we're just really trying to optimize existing features in the app and try to add complementary features at this point. And we're always open to ideas. If there's sources of data, we can pull them in very quickly.
Is there content for just like I know you mentioned tutorials and stuff. Is there like video content that says, "Hey, this is how you use these tools," or how do folks go to, or where do folks go to learn kind of that aspect of it?
Good question.
Yeah. So we have a custom algorithm in the site that tries to organize all of the information that we have. So when we're talking about a specific technique, maybe it's a specific body of water, a state, a species, and like we have all that data organized. And then as we mentioned layers, or we mentioned something that's unique to Pro, we have all of that embedded within the app, hopefully in the right places. Whether we could be a specific product, but those things link back up in the product detail pages. We do have an articles and video page that has a pretty good filter in it. And so one thing that we see people do is they go in and type in Pro, and it will pull all the information that explains how to use the layers.
Perfect.
Some of that is state specific. So the other resource that we do have on the web is when you first get to the website, you will see a little thing up at the top that says states. When you click on that, you can actually click your state, and it's going to show you really popular water bodies. It's going to show you key baits that are mentioned in that state, and then link it to the water bodies it was mentioned on. And then underneath, it will have all of the articles and videos where we talk about water bodies within that specific state. So it's just a way to try and organize all that information as best we can. So no matter where you navigate on the site, you end up running into some content that's relevant to that experience.
Gotcha. And that's kind of cool that you're using, those kind of tools like, AI things to kind of, interpret what people are doing and lead them where, to the information that they're looking for without having just to click around and kind of stumble upon it. So.
Right.
Well, now we know why everybody comes to the Susquehanna and throws a whopper plopper.
That's our fault. Yeah.
No. I'm just playing.
Michael asks, any plans for new locations? Like, are you saying retail locations, Michael? Like, because you guys don't have brick and mortar, do you?
We did for a period of time in our old space.
Okay.
You could actually come in and you could shop our entire warehouse. So like we didn't merchandise very much. You could actually go down the aisles and pull things based on our bin location. It's a really hard thing to manage.
I imagine. I can't imagine even trying that, but yeah.
But our partner here in Minnesota, I'd say it's really just Minnesota, but our partner here in Minnesota is the Thorne Brothers. They're actually just up in Blaine, and they do have an extremely large brick and mortar. And all of our items that are shipped out of the warehouse, actually combined inventory, you can actually access them in their brick and mortar location as well. So if you're another Minnesota guy, but no plans to expand in the Northeast yet. We could potentially.
Yeah, Minnesota's a little bit of a hike. I'll stick to ordering online.
That's right.
Nice. You got anything else for Matt, Sean?
I'm trying to think of any other questions. You covered a ton of information.
Yeah. There's
anything else you can think that you'd want to add, or that if you could, direct people to Omni, any other highlights that you would cover?
Yeah, you guys asked the right questions. I mean, we covered a lot of the stuff. It was a lot. I would say we've spent a lot of time recently trying to make mobile web, and the app very consistent. So like anything that you can find in the app, you can find on web and mobile. I'd encourage people, if you're on your computer, to give Omni a try and check that out, because it's a little bit different. There's no Navionics in the web version, but I think that's coming soon. But I encourage you to download the app, even if you just plan to come in for free and look around and get ideas. If you're coming in and using Omnia app, but you have a local retailer that you do like, that's still really good for us. We really we like people to come in and find value, because it's still accomplishing our objective as a company, which is to try and reduce that overwhelming nature of just this massive wall. We want, if you're looking at our app and then you're looking at the wall and it feels like lights are coming on the baits that could be relevant to you right now, we've accomplished our objective. So, we really have aspirations to be a really impactful app like that. So, encourage everybody to download and give it a try.
And I think anybody that's looking at purchasing, like, say, a Navionics subscription, if you could get that in front of them and say, hey, this is what you would get with us on top of getting basically a Navionics subscription. I mean, that I couldn't think of any reason why you wouldn't do that. It's just a matter of getting them to know, hey, this is out here, give us a try.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll pay for your Navionics subscription on your behalf. And Navionics is a great partner of ours, so they love having people come in and consume. We don't have shaded relief. That's the one thing. And then I will mention that we just recently put in that dam information. A new feature that will probably be this week or next is you'll actually be able to go into your Navionics and then offset your contours. So if you're at 12 feet above pool height, you can go in, add 12 feet, and it will offset your entire Navionics layer to be updated with the current pool height. So those are the things that, like a lot of existing tools, just making them all better. But you're right. If you're looking at Navionics, or if you already have Navionics, Omnia, I just think it's a great place to have all the things in one place. And we find people toggle between Navionics and the CMAP social contours just to see. That's a really fine detail. It's limited, and it's only limited in specific locations, but people will go and toggle between the two and really get an understanding. Does the hump look like this, or does the hump kind of go the other way? Which, when you're powering yourself on the kayak, that matters, being right exactly where you need to be.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth it just to be able to do your homework at home before you even go out.
That's right.
Then
I've seen a few orders. So my phone gets a ring every time an order comes through. We've probably had $2,000 worth of merchandise go through, but there's been a few $60 gift cards. So I don't know. I don't remember when that one closes, but if there's anybody in the show that's doing that, I've seen a couple come through, and it's a great deal.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So if anybody listening live wants to go check that out, make sure you do, because that pays for itself. That's easy. So
the way it works is you go into Omnia, you search by gift cards. It will pull up the gift card page. There's a $60 gift card in there, and it's all mentioned right on the page. If you check out, you actually get your digital gift card code right away. And then you'll get an email, next couple hours, and it'll actually give you a unique code to then redeem your pro subscription at $0.
Wow.
I know I'll definitely be checking it out just for the waypoints and weather. I mean, there's so many things you can do with that. You're fishing. Let's say you're on the Susquehanna River, you're out fishing, you start catching fish. You can throw down a waypoint, and you'll have it there for forever.
Right.
You may not know where you're at on the river somewhere. You lay down some waypoints so you can get your way back. Does it have that? Does it have like a trail thing that you can lay down a trail so you can get back to the boat ramp and all that stuff?
We actually don't have the trail. It is something we could potentially add. We've tried to be really careful, because even with waypoints, people get really worried about it exposing or giving it away to somebody. So people don't want that stuff. We have thought about adding that so that it could be a useful tool. I see some people use iPads and things on the water on their kayaks. It's something we could potentially look at. I was going to mention that if anybody has the electronics and they have been logging waypoints, we keep those private. If you upload, you can actually share your waypoints to the app. If you do that, that patterning tool that I was talking about, where you could say, I only want to see X waypoints on this lake during this period, during this month, when the water temperature is X, that we actually do that for 10 years. So if you've been logging waypoints on electronics for 20 years, you upload them, 10 of those years are actually going to automatically get all that data associated with them. It's pretty cool for building some of those patterns and filtering out. But it's something I'll look at for the track movements, so that we could potentially be helpful there.
Nice.
That's really cool. To be able to just having the ability to upload your waypoints from your electronics that you've already made. That's huge too.
Yeah.
Neat.
Sweet.
All right, Matt. Well, just let folks know where they can find Omnia online, and any other social media stuff that you want to shout out quick. That's fine.
Yeah, definitely follow us on YouTube. We've been doing some pretty cool stuff lately. We just launched a video where we promoted a rod company that is putting nickel titanium on the tip of the rod, and they're measuring it. It's a bunch of heart surgeons. They put stents in people's hearts, and now they're putting the stent material on the tip of the rod called RASA. It's so neat. So we're starting to create a cool content series. We had 20,000 views in the first 2 days. So YouTube does a lot of cool stuff. In addition to promoting on our Omnia Fishing YouTube page, we do a lot of pro review, a lot of how to use layers. We actually collaborate with a lot of ambassadors across the country. I believe we have some people out your way. So up in the Northeast, the guys that are fishing out in those lakes in New York and stuff. So we do have a lot of content that's out there, and there's probably a couple thousand videos already out there. So you definitely use that as a resource. Search Omnia Fishing in the App Store. We OMNIA in the App Store. We don't do any ads, so we've grown very, very quickly just by word of mouth. We've grown so fast that a lot of our competitors bid on our words. So you're going to type in Omnia Fishing, you're going to see all of our competitors trying to get you to download their app instead. So we appreciate your loyalty. I don't know if they're threatened by us or what, but you'll see a lot of ads pop up there. So check it out, download the app, and we're always open if you have any questions. When you download the app, there's the ability to speak with us, and we have customer support on there, and they're also bass heads, and they know what they're talking about, and they're really useful and love talking about gear and strategy.
Very, very cool. All right, Matt. Well, thanks again for taking time out of your schedule. I hope your hockey kids hockey thing is going okay, and we'll let you get back into that. We're gonna drop you out of the back into the green room just while we finish things up. Feel free if you need to hop back in there to go. Otherwise, we can chat after the show, whatever you want to do. But again, thanks so much for taking some time to come on and talk with us and share, the benefits of the Omni app and the retail stuff and how that all ties together. That's really impressive what you guys have built. So
very impressive.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on and letting us promote the app. I'll follow along and check out the comments afterwards too, and maybe respond to a few if there's any questions about the app. I'm happy to do it.
Awesome.
Yep. Thanks,
all right,
Matt.
Man.
Thanks,
thank you. Take it easy.
Go wild.
All right. Well,
that was Sean.
Yeah,
there was
cool.
a lot of things there that I didn't know about it.
Yeah, I definitely, encourage anybody, and I have it. So if anybody wants to see it in person, reach out to me. I'll be glad to show you, the stuff that I know and the stuff that I use on it. So I'd be happy to show that if somebody wants to see what a pro subscription looks like without buying it. But
yeah, I do want to point out something. There's this young man that we met at a fishing show.
Oh yeah,
back in January, he was with his dad, and we were talking to him. He has his own YouTube channel. He does a lot of things outdoors. It's called That One Outdoor Kid. He's been coming on and watching our show ever since we met him, and he's always posting comments in the comment section. And yeah, we see your comments, and we appreciate you watching, and we appreciate you commenting, and of course, we would never forget about you, buddy. I subscribe to his channel, so I advise everybody else that wants to support a young man to reach his goals in life. So go ahead and check out his channel.
I want to quickly plug too. I am selling my Innovative Sportsman Osprey. So if any of you guys were in the market for that, I would love to get you connected with that. I love the kayak. I have reasons for why I'm switching up. Still a great kayak, and if I could have two, I would have it.
That's what I just got, buddy.
Yeah. And so if it was a listener from the show, I do have it posted on my socials. If it's someone who's listening, I will potentially knock the price down if you mention that when you reach out.
Jason, the 20 inchers, 50% off.
I don't know, 50%. I do got to make some of my money back, but yeah, reach out if you're interested at all. Hit me up on socials, and we can definitely talk about it. I can, if you're local, I can even let you test it out. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Hey, before we go, I didn't see anybody vote on our pictures. So real quick, let's go through the pictures really quick.
Okay.
And let's get a winner here. I'll start it off with Buddy Long. Buddy Long is number 1. So just put his name or a number 1 in the comments. Go ahead, Sean.
All right. Gary Horst is number 2. That's
and this
Gary.
Is for the $50 Achigan gift card. Number 3 is Jake Karen.
Yep. Jake is a good dude. And number 4 is going to be our buddy Jay Duke. So if you think Jay Smalley is worthy of a $50 Achigan, just drop his name or number 4 in the comments.
Yep. And number 5, Kevin Rowland with a largie. Nice
Very
picture.
Nice largie. Yep. And number is a 6. Yeah, number 6 is our buddy Larry Okonski. So if you think Jet Boat Larry is worthy of a Chegan gift card, then drop Larry Okonski's name in the chat and or number 6, however you guys want to do that.
All
And
right, I'm seeing number 2s. Their comment number 2.
Okay, interesting.
Number 2 would be Horst Gary.
Gary Horst, yeah. 2 or 5. All right, well, keep them rolling.
Yeah, 6. Larry, you can vote for yourself.
You can vote for yourself.
1. Oh, we got all kinds of numbers rolling in now.
So we will tally these for next week and see who gets to win that. So again, and if you guys are interested in doing that, send us a picture and we'll get you guys entered into that as we do more of them. We love seeing you guys in the fish pictures. That's part of why we do this, is just seeing you guys out there being successful and catching fish. So
heck yeah, me and you, Sean, will be on there soon.
I hope so. Yes. Oh man, that's way overdue. So
I could use a $50 Chegan gift card.
All right, guys. Yeah.
Close it out, Sean.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Again, we appreciate Omnia and Matt Johnson for coming on and explaining that. Definitely some good stuff there. Go out and check it out. Hit us up if you have questions. We can, if we don't know the answers, we'll get you in contact with Matt or somebody from Omnia who can answer those questions for you. Otherwise, thanks again for tuning in with us. So many of you guys come back week after week, and we appreciate that so much. All the support that we get. Anything else you want to say, Carl?
Just somebody asked, how do we enter pictures? So if you go to our Facebook page, Chasing the 20 Inchers, I usually make a post like the day before about the entry of photos. So just keep an eye out for that. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and become a member of our Facebook page. That way you get all the notifications for when we do take the pictures. And we appreciate everyone for commenting throughout the show and all our sponsors. I know I didn't throw up any banners today on the show because I didn't want to direct attention away from Omnia Fishing. But we do have a code for Vicious Fishing. I'll throw that up real quick before we go. You guys can see it.
We should say thanks to them too. They recently decided to work with us, and so we got the code this week and got some line to really try out, and we're super interested in trying that out, and we appreciate them hooking you guys up with a code. So definitely, if you're in the line for fishing line, go check.
Everybody should be in the market for fishing line at this time right now. So check out Vicious Fishing, 25% off, one-time code. Get all your fishing line at once. I know they said they're out of some stuff till April, so you might want to wait till April to use this code. That way you get a heck of a discount, 25% off. You could really stack up a cart and then get a decent amount of money off that. And the line's good. I was throwing it today, and the braid, I was throwing the braid on a casting rod, and I had no issues. Awesome. So I'm super excited about our season coming up, Sean. I can't wait to get out there on the water and start fishing tournaments. And it
is getting close. I think Mother Nature's winter is finally giving up the fight, and it should be starting to warm up here. Maybe we might have a week or two of stuff, but very shortly it's going to be we're going to be back in business here, so I just can't wait.
Yeah, let me it looks like number 2 won. So number 2, I'm going to announce it right now so we don't have to go back and check this out, but Horst Gary, you're the winner.
Gary. All right, congrats, Gary. That's another winner for our Chegan $50 gift card. So we will get in touch with Gary and hook him up with that. And again, guys, thanks so much for submitting those pictures, and keep doing it. And we'll just Chegan was nice enough to let us do that every month, so we will kind of work through that for the rest of this year. And I can't thank Chegan enough. Carlisle and I love their stuff, and
Free the Fighter.
They definitely rep smallmouth it's crazy. So, all right, guys. Well, with that, we will wrap up for this week. We thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll see you guys in another 2 weeks with another great episode. But until then, get out there. If you can, be safe on the water. And, we will catch you guys next time.
See you guys.
Thank you for tuning in to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget, for future shows, like, follow, share, and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you check out our individual channels and accounts too. Want to be a guest on one of our shows and talk of adventures, gear, or products? Contact us. Thank you for watching The Noob Show with Matt Gibson, Chasing the Tide with Dustin Nichols, The Rusty Hook with John Rapp, The River Run with Adam Fraser Pross, May Contain Fishing with Daniel Woodcock, Chasing the 20s with Carlisle Esterly and Sean Lavery, Friday Night Bites with Brian Schiller. Thanks for tuning into the Paddle and Fin Network. Subscribe and always